William R. Dixon's adaptation of The Jungle Book. Show dates are July 17th through August 1st. Starting time is 8:15 p.m. General admission is just $10 for adults, and children 12 years old and younger are just $5. Two parents and all their children under 18 years can purchase a family ticket at the box office for just $25, and you can save 20% on a family ticket if you print it out at home by going to junioruniversity.org. Listen to KCAA and win tickets to The Jungle Book. And that's a look at the KCAA Community Calendar. I'm Mark Westwood.
This is Scientific American's 60-Second Science. I'm Steve Mirsky. Got a minute?
One of the aspirations in the letter is between now and 2030 to cut by 2/3 maternal mortality.
Dr. Susan Desmond-Hellmann is CEO of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. On January 26th, she spoke with Scientific American about the goals the International Philanthropic Foundation put forth in its just-released annual letter.
This has been an area that's so important and so challenging. It is essential to think about all aspects of that. For example, one of the areas that the foundation is now funding is family planning, so that a woman, or a young woman in particular, can decide when she wants to become pregnant, that's a decision she can make, and she can space her children. And so I think it starts with that. We also have a big focus on nutrition. So a mom having a good nutritional status when she's pregnant, again, very helpful. And then again, working with local groups with ministries of health to make sure that a woman can deliver at a facility where things are there available should she need the kind of care that having the baby at home wouldn't enable her to have.
For the full conversation between Gates Foundation CEO Susan Desmond-Hellmann and Scientific American Editor-in-Chief Mariette DiChristina, look on our website for the upcoming Science Talk podcast. Thanks for the minute. For Scientific American's 60-Second Science, I'm Steve Mirsky.
Slam the door on FeePay. Forget everything you know about selling online, because I'm here to tell you about a new and revolutionary way to buy and sell on the internet. BuySellMakeOffer.com is here to shake up the web. Tired of paying those outrageous fees? You'll never pay a fee with BuySellMakeOffer.com. For a monthly membership package starting at only $7.95, you can list and sell up to 50 items. That would cost you nearly $100 with the other guys. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and sign up today. Miss one of your favorite shows? Don't worry, we've got your radio DVR right here on KCAAradio.com. Log on and listen to any show you want, anytime you want, on KCAA 1050 AM.
Who needs friends or Facebook when you have KCAA's Rant Line? You can get it all out at 909-353-1050 with no interruptions. Do you want to tell us how much you're learning from Dave Ramsey?
Keep your expenses down when you're a student.
Maybe you stink. You can't take a shower at your place and you really need to.
Work it down there at the largest online retailer in the United States, and they had him loading them trucks. I sure need a shower.
Perhaps you're having money issues.
Motel 6 ejector rates up. It used to be like $42. Now they're up to $59. Got about $4,000 in the bank, but working part-time, I don't want to whittle into that. Might need a letter.
Whatever you need to get off your chest, we are here for you. Give us a call on the Rant Line at 909-353-1050 and rant. We'll listen, we won't interrupt, and we may even play your rant on this station that leaves no listener behind. KCAA 1050 AM.
Saluting you. He's not trying to stop you. He's trying to tell you life is great. Go forward. Maybe you better pull over. Yeah, look him in the eye and say, hey, life is great. Don't worry about a thing. Well, maybe a couple of things you need to worry about. Try to do something about. But God is great. You stay grateful, and those things will get worked out, especially if you make a plan. I remember someone coming in here some time ago with a plan that I said, I don't know, that's an awful lot to want to have. And if you get it, is it really going to taste like you think? And maybe you ought to do it. But I tell you what, she wasn't turned around. She said, ain't no stopping us now. And she's on the move. And I want to thank her for her diligence and her persistence. And some folks are going to say, she's just stubborn, hard to get along with. She won't turn around. Praise the Lord for Miss Renee Wickman. She won't turn around. Yes, I appreciate that. We're going to tell you a little bit more about why she has made us so elated and happy up in here as we move on to the show. I just want to remind you that this is Empire Talks Back. I am Wallace Allen. I am indeed on the case for truth and justice with the right information to help improve the situation. A lot of you folks think that when I say I've got the right information that I'm trying to, call myself some kind of genius for my great intellect. And I see Mr. Moodmaster, he couldn't even let that get out before he started laughing because he knows the truth. My strength lies in my friends and associates. Blessed to have a great accompaniment of folks who make the harmony sound correct. They do the melody without a doubt. And the solos, you'll get to hear some of those later today. Speaking of that kind of musical content, Ms. Barbara Morrison, the great Barbara Morrison, the voice of all time, will be making San Bernardino realize that it is on the way back. She will be here on August 15th to celebrate the great move of San Bernardino by providing one of her world-class jazz blues performances at the place we affectionately call 777 Allen Street here in the city of San Bernardino off of Central Boulevard. There's the Mood Master walking out. He wanted us to be sure to miss him because he won't be on camera, but he will be plugged in the main room of the studio. That's the engineering room. That's where the control lies. That's why I call it the main room. Some of us would call it the big house, but we're not going there this morning. But we do want to remind you, that Barbara Morrison, the great Barbara Morrison, the legendary voice, she's sung with everybody that you can mention that's old school, new school, and wanting to learn the new rule. She will be here once again, world-class performance. Tickets, $30, $40 at the door. So get up and make that call. Call 909-384-8131. That's West Side Story newspaper, by the way. In case you forget the number, you can look it up on the phone book. Oh, there ain't no phone book. How do you get?
Just Google it, man.
Google it. Okay, there you go.
Give it the time.
Just Google it. Come on forward and Google it. But that's where you can reserve your seats. Tickets will go on sale on August 1st, but you can reserve your seat. I'm telling you, the venue is not the largest in the world. It's a great intimate place. You will actually be able to. Well, I won't go that far.
No, but it's well put together. I've been there.
It's well put together. I was starting to say something about how you'd be able to, count the breaths or something, but you won't be able to do that. But you'll be able to hear great music. Don't miss that opportunity. Speaking of harmony and moving along together, there's a young man in the studio today, Mr. Greg Jones, who's trying to make young folk feel more fit and part of the growing planet. Yes, getting them prepared for life by using sports as the format and platform to do it. And that is a good one. I mean, I learned how to be a team player, get knocked around and pushed around and told that it was okay. Get up and try it again. And, you keep doing that and you might turn into somebody like Renee Wickman who will not take no for an answer. So that's what we want to be able to do. We want to welcome Jamal Lilly into the studio.
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm sure that our friend Leonard Evans will be on the phone, and I'll just be happy to hear him on the phone, but I'll tell him again too, Leonard, I wish you'd come on down and be part of this visual and community feeling that we get sitting around the table of ain't nothing common about common sense.
Yeah, we miss you, Leonard. We need to see your face, man.
I was speaking to the pastor earlier this morning and telling him that the show is not a religious one, but it is a spiritual one and it is a sermon. So we are going to kind of categorize it as the church of ain't nothing common about common sense. Okay, that's a situation that we lament. But however, we are here to present some information that will make you uncommon because of the sense that we're able to provide during the day. Mr. Jones, we want to start with you. Our young people are the reason we are doing most of what we do. Ms. Wickman is very concerned about a lot of things. One of them is prison reform. The reason is because they have institutionalized so many of our young men.
Yes, sir.
And they have made many of them feel that being out of prison is an uncomfortable thing, and recidivism is their goal. And they end up going back to jail because it seems to be more comfortable. Well, we need on the outside to make them more comfortable, and we need to prepare them so that they have no comfort but total resistance to the institutional attitudes that say they belong in jail or that they belong somewhere other than on the front lines of learning and pushing our society forward. So your plan for young men is to do what?
It's to actually keep them away from that. The reason we started this program, All Stars, is an acronym. STARS, like I told you before, stands for Surviving Through Adversity Requires Strength. It was birthed out of the fact that I've been to prison. I served 8 years and 4 months behind fast living. And so when we started this program, it actually ties in with the youth football organization. And like I said, it's mainly catered towards kids that are at risk, any nationality, any race, but mainly catered towards the kids that are at risk in our community.
And unfortunately, that title crosses so many lines. At one point, you would say, well, the at-risk kid is he's obviously the kid who doesn't have a father, he's a single parent, and no money in the house, and things like that. And that may be the case, but that is not the simple requirement for a young black man to go to jail.
No, it's not.
I think part of it is being caught out on the street.
Yeah.
And looking like the fashions of the day tell you to look.
Yeah.
And meeting the resistance to cultural change that police and authority usually has.
Yeah.
Our young black men and young white men who want to be black men in terms of the clothes and things that they wear are just as much in danger here, certainly Hispanic men. When you're going up against power, and that's what we're really dealing with, people who have an overabundance of affection for power, and we need to prepare our folks to deal with that, not just in resisting that as it affects them individually, but socially. We need to get everybody to understand that any power that's been availed to them is as a result of us giving it to them as the people, hoping that they are going to do the right thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Doing the right thing, raising our kids correctly. Tell us more about your program, how you intend to make it work. Actually, it has been working.
Yes, sir. The football program has been on for 2 years now. It's our second year. It started with me, another couple, Kcaa and Mark Esley, and my wife. We started the football program last year. This is our second year launching it. The All-Star program is in the process now.
Now, there's some people out there saying, well, come on, these kids, there's not room for everybody to be a professional athlete. Why are we training our kids to do that kind of thing? I understand that you have some incentive available for your young people, so that they are not looking just at football as a means of securing their income in life, but using that as a way of coming into a way to deal with life.
Or even being just successful as an individual. I'm a contractor. Been fortunate enough to learn how to build, how to use my hands for 18 years now. So along with just training in sports.
You mean using your hands to build?
Build, yeah. I'm a contractor for
houses
KFC.
And structures and stuff like that. You're not Floyd Mayweather.
No.
Oh, I mean, ain't nothing wrong with being Floyd Mayweather. It's just, I didn't know but there was one of him. Yeah. But go ahead.
My thing is actually we could teach them skills, not only just skills in life and football in general, but also career type skills as far as anything has to do with building. I have a lot of guys around me that's willing to help out, donate their time, their energy, and all the knowledge that they have to help these kids become successful people as they grow up.
This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen on the case for truth, justice, with the right information to help improve the situation. Some of that right information you'll hear right after this break as we continue our conversation with Mr. Greg Jones and his program specifically for young boys, helping them become men as a result of team sports, and an incentive that allows them to provide or be provided with a work ethic and actually probably an opportunity to make some money. And that always drives folks that are being influenced here in America. Nothing wrong with that. We'll be right back after this short break, take you on an even more enjoyable vision of what's ahead of us.
No matter the people might say, you're in my corner all the way. God, don't let me lose my dream. Baby, baby, hold on. Please don't let me lose this dream. Baby, baby, be strong. I had a dream last night about my me and you, baby. Now we walked down the aisle holding hands, making love, holding on.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Go ahead and say it. We're all ears. AM 1050 KCAA.
Ain't got no feelings to bruise. Ain't got no fancy to tickle. I ain't got nothing but the blues.
Sing it, baby. Miss Barbara Morrison. She is indeed a great voice and a wonderful choice to help us realize that San Bernardino is back on the move, folks. We're bringing world-class entertainment in for you to enjoy on August 15th at 777 Allen Street. Make a phone call to West Side Story newspaper and reserve your seat right away. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen on the case for truth, justice, with the right information to help improve the situation. We're speaking with Mr. Greg Jones. He has a construction company. He also has a little time on his hands, and so he's decided to reach out and work with some young people, giving them access to some life learning through sports and through the concept of possibly getting some type of work that he has available to them. I know that we're talking about young kids, and most folks are saying, well, you know, they can't be on a construction site. Wrong. I was raised on a construction site. That's why I'm not on one now. Not that. Well, you can get tired of it. I did as a child, and I think that my dad worked me in a way to make me get tired of it. I remember the days that he would say, "What are you doing, son?" And I was silly enough to say, "Well, nothing, Dad." And he said, "Hey, got something for you." You know, you see those brick and block behind the garage? Move them over behind the barbecue pit. Yeah. I run back in the yard and come back happily to tell Pop, "Hey, Pop, they're not behind the garage. They're already behind the barbecue pit." He said, "Well, cool. Move them from behind the barbecue pit over to behind the garage." I realized over a period of time that it would do me well to have a schedule of actual work to do, so that when he came up to me and said, "What's up, son? What you doing?" I was able to say, "Oh, Pop, I got a whole lot of things to do." And be able to show him that list, and he'd leave me alone. I wish now, however, that I had stuck with him a little longer, because one of the most important and lucrative businesses on the plant is building things, construction, and I salute you for sticking in. I understand that it's important for you to have been able to create your own job,
yes, sir,
your own income potential, and that's what you're going to be showing these kids as you continue on.
Yeah.
So how far along are you, and what is it that people that are listening to us can do to support you?
Actually, just word of mouth is actually how we work.
No,
word
you're
of
not.
mouth.
You're on the radio now.
Yeah, well, and that's a beautiful thing.
You know, I guess that's word of ear, word to ear, and things of that sort. But yeah, we have to understand.
Just letting people know about the program. Being that we are in high desert, we don't get a lot of exposure. I mean, up until this point, the High Desert Youth Football thing, you can look it up online, highdesertducks.com, and you can actually support through there. We are 501c. And we do take donations, but as far as the work side of it, construction isn't for everybody. You know, I've been doing it for 18 years, but I also want to give these kids the opportunity to learn. Some guys get involved in it, they like it. Some of them just do it for the money. I do it for the relationship.
Show them how to bid jobs and show them the result that occurs in what we call the gap.
Yeah.
The gap.
Yeah.
You know, that's from what it costs you to the distance between what it costs you and what you can charge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Evans is on the phone. He just fell off of his chair because I finally said something that he could really enthusiastically agree with. Right, Leonard?
That's right. I'm here.
How you doing this morning, friend?
Delightful.
Good. So Mr. Jones, with your ability to provide them some coverage beyond the athletic field or the field of athletics. I did notice that, it's not cheap to put together a football team for little guys.
It's not.
And the parents, that's a lot of little babysitting money that you're putting together. You will have some time on your hands as a parent as a result of having dropped your kid off to practice or staying there with them in practice. But what's it, about $225, $250 per member?
And that's actually a sign-up fee. But at the end of the day, I have 8 kids. I got 6 boys and 2 girls and a strong wife at home. I figure if we can do it, we can make the prices even more available to a family that is as large, because we want to let them know that it's not about the money. It's more so it is about us helping you help your kid become a better person.
Right. So we're not going to tell folks over the air that, if you don't have the money, come on by anyway, and Greg's just going to give it to you.
No.
It's not like that. But he will work something out for you, and who knows, I don't know, maybe it means you got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go shovel sand over on one of his work sites to make it happen. I know I used to have to do it. So, but one thing about it, you won't have frozen sand even in Victorville. Back in Illinois, we had frozen sand that we had to work with. So, but you're saying that you're willing to work with the parent.
Of course, of course.
In order to work with their children, this is what we have to do.
Whatever it takes. I mean, just to the point to where, like we said before, they can donate time sometimes. We have different fundraisers and things that we do to actually knock the prices down, because we realize everyone isn't working, and we also realize that some people are raising kids by themselves. So we do try to make it as financially comfortable according to the situation of family.
Now, you're in a position where you not only are able to take care of your family, praise the Lord.
Yes, sir.
But you're able to reach out and help other people in the community.
Yes, sir.
A double praise the Lord.
Yeah.
Okay? Especially when we associate it with your background. You represent a successful maneuver from the prison system.
Yes, sir.
Into back home in society, and that's very, very important. How you were able to do that is just as important as the fact that you were able to do it. Miss Renee Wickman is involved with prison reform, the Prop 47 requirement that there will be reform, that we no longer will be sending all of our money to the state for the state of California to handle ex-prisoners as they come out and attempt to rejoin society. There is a ruling now that the counties and cities ultimately will have to deal with the prisoners who are being released because they came from those counties and cities, and they are going to be sent back, not necessarily with all of the money needed to make them able to make that transition, but whatever monies that they do have. Miss Renee Wickman, the Miss I won't take no for an answer lady, noted that there is a committee, statewide committee, that is in charge of deciding what organizations and what counties are going to be able to retrieve or receive this money in our effort to retrieve our prisoners from prison and replace them or place them back into society. There are some organizations that have been attempting to do that with whatever nickels and pennies that we as concerned citizens can help provide these nonprofit agencies to do that. And then, of course, there are the quote-unquote traditional manners in which these people are treated and attempted to be reintroduced back into society. That's the attempt done by the county, the sheriff, the jails, the same people that put them there and who have the power to decide really when they should come out or if they should come out or should they get another citation while they're in. And, we just spoke about power a little bit earlier, how people tend to not know that it's loaned to them, not something that's given. And so the power that's represented by the traditional group demonstrates to me that though they are the power, they have been actually powerless in affecting a good return for ex-prisoners into society. And so I think I'm forced, and delightfully so, to agree with Ms. Wickman that someone other than the prisons should be the ones who help decide and demonstrate a way for ex-prisoners to move into society successfully.
Yeah.
Am I fairly correct in my description, Ms. Wickman?
Yes, you are. Absolutely.
Say it again.
Yes, you are.
I like to be told that I'm correct, because I'm not there all the time. Mr. Evans, did you hear that? I did. I've been told that I'm fairly correct.
Well, I think you're right on the money, because it turns out that if prisoners who are released are not successfully reintegrated into society, there will be a cost to society. So the people that would be paying that cost have a vested interest in seeing that this money is used effectively.
Actually, it's a double cost, because they've already paid a tax to assure these assure that these young men, young women, old women won't go back to prison. That's the goal. It's to, like you say, reintegrate them or integrate them successfully for the first time into society, with a way to not just stand around, because there's people in society now that you see them on the corner every day.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a way to actually be back into the groove of society. They're in society, but Leonard, like a friend of ours said years and years ago, all they did was move into another classification. You don't drop out. You just drop over into something, so you're out of prison, but you're still homeless. You don't have a job. You don't have a way to, to impress your family and friends that you're sincere, because every time they see you, you're still in need.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. And that's the key
Mr.
right
Jones
there,
is Mr.
you're
Jones.
still going to be a consumer no matter where you light.
Yeah, well, consuming the air and space without a way for paying for it is what we call a problem, and society does
Well,
that.
all of these people eat. They have to sleep someplace, change of clothes. They are still consumers. Your point is that they appear to have dropped off of the chart under the radar, but there's still a spot for them.
They're still consuming, and guess what? Somebody is, as we talked about with our banking situation, somebody is putting money forward with the idea that it's designed to help these prisoners, ex-prisoners, get themselves in order. But every dollar that's put in that direction, if it comes out of your pocket or mine, and when we see them on the street, that whole dollar goes toward whatever their need is. If we deliver it back to the state and they come forward with their bureaucratic setup, we're really, really lucky if we can get 50% of that money. Ms. Wickman, do you have any idea how much of the money that's been in the past set up to redeem the souls and positions of these prisoners, how much of that dollar actually goes to them so that they can make their own way? Or do they have some supervisor or daddy, mama, uncle kind of person who, give me the money and I'll take care of Fred? Or maybe they do it in terms of the organization. Well, we already decided and pointed out they don't give it to our local nonprofits, so they give it back to the sheriff.
All law enforcement gets that money. Besides the whatever the money is that they give them that when they leave the prison or the jail, whatever stipend they give them,
that's what it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the extent of it.
Inflation has changed everybody else's position, but I probably gave you $200 20 years ago when you got out.
Yes, it was 8 years ago,
Okay.
and they gave me $180.
$180,
Yeah.
charged you 20 for?
And that was coming from Avenal to be transported back to Pomona. So for me, it was kind of a struggle in the beginning, but I just want to encourage people that have been out, if you don't quit, you don't stop, you can make it. It's not going to be easy, because it's not as easy for an ex-convict as it is for someone without a record to get a job.
That's right.
But they can make it. I'm living proof of that,
We're going to take a short break. We're not quitting.
Very quickly.
We'll be right back, Leonard. We got to take this short break, because other than that, Joe's going to cut us off. He is the man in charge of the power. So we'll be right back. We'll let you say what you got to say upon return, but we must adhere to what they tell us to do from the big house. We'll be right back.
You've been faithful all along, so baby, come home, baby. Please come home.
Publish your legal notice in Westside Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. Westside Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call Westside Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
Making a brand new start, that's what we're talking about, giving people the opportunity to make a brand new start without the echo of the past, but only the privilege that the future can bring if we can indeed give them a means of stepping up into society. Mr. Evans, you had something you wanted to say before the break.
Kentucky had been looking at the statistics, focusing mostly on young people and then being incarcerated early and then going back to jail, and they wanted to break this cycle. They have put in place a program that has the recidivism rate down below 20%. It's working extremely successfully. I've forgotten all the details. I saw it in a news report. It'd be something that for anybody who'd like to do something about this, the way the state handles people here, that seems to be a very good model. There is a way to get better results, and that means less tax burden on individuals.
Well, they transferred the money. They transferred the money from one account to another. They moved it from a situation where people were getting paid to watch children stay in the same place, and they found a way to hook these people up with jobs and job providers, so that there was some traction made available, and monies that were sitting in a little pile of bureaucratic pile became monies available to activate these young folk into a job circumstance, and something about having a job that makes people a little bit easier to fit in society. And I'm not specific about everything that they did there, but it's much like the conversation Mr. Dub gave us last week about transferring monies that are sitting over into that are sitting and paying people to kind of keep the circumstance the way it is, and to move that money over into a situation
and pay people to make a difference.
And this is what I think Ms. Wickman is suggesting as we talk about the new program and the requirements that we would like to see people go through with Prop 47. Ms. Wickman, would you give us a little more background on what has occurred and the good news that you are able to deliver as a result of your stubbornness?
Well, Proposition 47, just a little bit of information on it, is there are certain low-level, nonviolent felonies that you now have the opportunity to have them reclassified and reduced to misdemeanors. And so that's what Proposition 47 did for the community, and the state of California voters voted that in last November, and it was overwhelming. So the population, not here, only here in the state of California, but across the country, is really looking for criminal justice reform. So that's the major thing. But when I learned about Proposition 47 last year, I've been tracking it with the Inland Empire Concerned African American Churches, and so what we discovered was that the Board of State of Community Corrections is a state board of 13 members, and the speaker appoints them. The California Judicial Council has some appointments. The state Senate, they have appointments, and then the governor has the most appointments. So we discovered that there were absolutely no African Americans on that board. And our population here in the state of California is 6.6%, but across the board in the jails and prisons, we have up to 30% of the population in the jails and prisons.
Up to 30, you said, or 13?
Up to 30. Up to 30%. Okay, so that is, at this point, we are extremely overrepresented in the prison. Yeah, in the prison, and for me that's criminal. That's a criminal, and it has to be deliberate. So I went on a mission. We went on a mission to change that. So we wrote a letter to the governor, to Tony Atkins, who is the Speaker of the Assembly, our brother Assembly Member Holden, who's up under Atkins. He's like the whip of the Assembly. And then our brother Reggie Jones Sawyer, who is the chair of the California Democratic Party African American Caucus. I had the honor to go up to Sacramento in June to talk to the BSCC about another bill where they want to give $500 million to the Sheriff's Department to do some things, so they say, for prison reform. We walked the letter in to them, and July 1st, there are a few openings, and one of them was for a judge. And I can say that they did appoint a sister who's a retired judge, and her name is, you have the name, we have it, Honorable
Ramona J. Garrett.
Yes, out of Sonoma, California.
Very proud of the fact that she graduated from Davis School of Law.
Yes, and she is a retired judge, and she does teach at UC Davis. So in our endeavor to make a change, there's that is just superficial right now. It's superficial right now. We really need to make some changes. And so the Proposition 47 gave you 3 years to apply to get these felonies reduced. In that, they didn't put any money for advertising. So it's important to know that this is word of mouth. That's the first thing. The second thing is, in a year, hundreds of millions of dollars will be coming down the pike that supposedly saved money. And not supposedly, but actually saved money by not putting these prisoners, in, and then releasing them, and then not re-entering recidivism back. So that money is supposed to go and should go to the communities, and we are arguing that since the African American community is as much as 30% of this population, then 30% at least of those funds should go to specifically African American organizations, nonprofit, faith-based, and for-profit Black organizations to help the African American prisoners and jailers and those who go under Proposition 47, specifically the Black population, to help them. But that has not been the case. Simple
business attitude says if 30% of my problem, I should spend 30% of my money on fixing.
Yes, absolutely.
I should move for that solution. The problem that we're looking at is it goes into the committee. I can see why being brought to his attention that the governor could immediately or would immediately say, whoa, there's no balance in here. There's absolutely nothing but potential controversy with us, again, if we continue with this position of not having one African American on the so-called solution board, and 30% of our problem being African Americans on the prison circumstance.
And I can tell you that most of those 13, only 3 were not law enforcement positions. Yes. Only 3 were not law enforcement.
So we're defending that position of power that law has over it, and you've already said that they're going to make a decision about other monies, but they've already got a bill designed to secure $500 million for the sheriffs. Yeah. Now, I'm not against the sheriffs, believe me. They were very important day before yesterday, along with Highway Patrol, on the situation we had with the fires and the cars. I mean, it's very important that we have people who can be first responders and be responsible and learned enough to be helpful. But at the same time, when we see 6% of the population being 30% of those folks that they're making money on in jail.
Oh my God.
Now remember, folks, they tell you every prisoner's worth about they say cost you $70,000 a year per prisoner.
No.
But from the other position of the budget of the state, that means they are making $70,000 per prisoner.
More than that, Wallace.
Okay.
They're contributing to GDP. Each prisoner that's in the system is actually contributing to that statistic you always hear about, with California being the world's 6th largest economy.
Okay.
They're a huge component of that. What I wanted to ask you about is the money that you're speaking of that's going to be redirected. Is that what they're titling these safe neighborhoods, safe schools funds?
Yes.
Okay,
exactly.
so then some of that money should be going to schools. Then.
25% is going to schools, and then the 10% is going to victims, and the other 65% is going to the BSCC for the re-entry of the Proposition 47 for Proposition 47.
And the BEC, they're the ones. This is that committee that makes the decision whether more of that money will go to the sheriff's departments or maybe some will go to probation.
Parole.
Okay,
so all of that's fine, but what we're talking about ultimately is who is best suited to understand the circumstance, understand the story, be sensitive to the people that are involved, and compassionate enough to understand the problems that they're coming out of jail with, and provide the link, an actual link. When I start my business, and anyone who starts a business, if he's got children, he wants them to work, not because necessarily they need the work experience, but I need to cover my expenses. Okay, so that it's really important that we tie the fact in that there's some money involved here.
Well,
that money should be
much
pushed
really
toward a
is
solution.
Very quickly.
Well, it's a lot of money, and everybody knows about a lot of money, but everybody doesn't know about real solutions that are available and people that can provide them. And this is where our word of mouth kind of hurts us inside of our community, because
that's the fight.
Everybody doesn't know about great organizations that really reach out and do what they can to help other folks.
And we have them, and we definitely have them.
And people need to know where they are and take advantage of them.
Right, and that's where, if there's no advertising money, where our newspapers and radio programs will step in and volunteer, because we will help point people in the right direction.
Well, wait a second. The state knows who these people are. They just released them. They're supposed to be at a
those people aren't the problem.
Why don't they send an information booklet to all these people about what's available for them to do now that they're out?
That's laughable, though, Leonard. They said there's no advertising money. There's no money to get the word out.
No.
So
how could anybody expect a program to work if they don't tell anybody?
Well, that's an interesting question, isn't it? Okay, there you have it. But the point is, you have things, Leonard, already like CalWorks, or like CalWorks used to be. You have other programs where they offer the training to these recently released inmates to go into the trades and to do things that would get them on a track to non-recidivism once again. We talk to Mary Flowers a lot. She's done that with her construction and contracting company for years and years. We have a brother right here who would be able to do that kind of thing, taking on apprentices, and that's what Wallace was alluding to. So I know that there are trade associations and there are coalitions of these types of groups and contractors and construction specialists. These people talk to each other in a matter of course of doing their business. If there's a way to just get that information in the hands of enough of those people so that they can communicate, hey, there's a place to go get discounted or free labor or capture dollars to train these people so that I can increase my market share or increase my work staff, my workforce. These kinds of things are things that could be done very easily in the course of folks doing the business they already do. And we don't need advertising dollars for that.
Well, I think it's from my experience, actually, from being an inmate and now out.
And a
business owner, to add that as well, but they don't make it as easy as it seems.
That's right.
When you get out, and I'll be the voice because I kind of been through it. When you get out, their whole thing is keeping tabs on where you're at. Not only where you're at, but what they will allow you to do. And so what I mean by that is, okay, they'll give us a packet. This place, that place is hiring ex-felons. But what they don't tell you is during your interview process, once you're answering questions that they're asking you, and mine is nonviolent as well, once they find out your background, you'll be the last person they call. That's why most people of our community go back to what they're comfortable of doing, because that's all they've ever done to make ends meet, to pay for diapers, food, milk, and things of that nature. They don't just go say, look, you have a record, we're going to drug test you. If you're clean, we'll give you a shot. It's not that easy.
Now, this is why entrepreneurism becomes a gateway to
because you have
success.
That ability to hire those people.
Yes, sir.
And to train them to be able to do things on their own. We're going to take a short break and come back, and we are going to kind of do the Harriet Tubman thing and, you follow the North Star to a solution and get out of the influence of the big house. We'll be right back.
I'm living in a kind of daydream. I'm happy as a queen.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
E-Digits. Lock them in for more information, recreation, and guaranteed fun. KCAA 1050 AM.
I see your face in every flower. Your eyes and stars above.
Harriet Tubman?
Oh no, that's Barbara Morrison, and she will indeed. She will indeed lead us out of the basement of misery into the top floor of Heaven Bound. Beautiful voice, beautiful entertainer, someone who will indeed make you laugh, cry, and do it again, and you don't want to miss her. Barbara Morrison in the city of San Bernardino, August 15th. Call West Side Story newspaper to reserve your tickets. You can Google us, I've been told. And you'll get the right number, and Miss Lou will answer the phone, or I'll answer the phone, or Miss Australia will answer the phone, or you'll get a chance to leave us a message. But either way, we will get back to you, and we will do what's necessary to deliver you from the boredom of not hearing Barbara to the wonderful feeling of indeed being in the same room, listening to her do what she does. Important. Good show. Please support. We're talking about the importance of us providing a bridge and a platform for recently released prisoners to be brought back into the realm of society as smoothly as possible. And we know that that's more of a conversation than it is a practical. We have a young man sitting here in the audience with us, at the microphone with us, who has experienced prison, but more importantly, he has experienced release from prison and release from those mental shackles that would normally go along with it, because he was given some opportunity and he was born with the gene that said don't quit. And he was able to turn his life around and put himself in a position to have a positive influence on more people, young people in particular, but anybody that's ever had to use his services, I'm sure, has been impressed with the way he builds and handles his company. Tell us more, though, about the hardship involved in making that transition, and also how you were able to make the successful bridge into business ownership.
I'll be blatantly honest. In the beginning, when I came home, I had a lot of family support, meaning people knew what I can do, how I can do it. They knew I was good at it. They knew I was passionate about it. The support didn't come from career opportunities in the society, meaning community, jobs. So therefore, I would lie on the application at one point and say, no, I don't have felonies, because they knew I was qualified for the position, but they didn't trust my convictions, my background. So I would say no, get the job, and I knew, like I told my wife, I'm only going to work for 2 or 3 weeks before this background check comes back and they'll let me go. That went on for about 1.5 years. Working with the school district here in Los Angeles area, I says, okay, at some point I'm going to start my own business. So when I launched to do that, I just saved. I would buy tool after tool after tool, became investments in vans and work trucks, and now I'm able to hire and employ 12 guys.
You had enough belief in your future that you actually started putting away for that future long before the delivery date.
Yeah.
You started saving money.
Yeah.
And that's and you don't just save money. You know, people say save money like you're putting it in a hole and you're not thinking about it. You had a plan.
Yeah, you have to. That's the whole
you
purpose.
You were investing. You were
yeah.
not really just putting it aside. You
yeah.
were mentally investing what you were going to do,
yes,
making
sir.
your plan.
Yes, sir.
Go on, tell us.
And my thing with the High Desert Ducks youth football program, we look at it more.
Let me go back and get you to tell us about how you formulated that company and got that first job, because that is a real.
You know what it is. I give all credit to God. I don't go to church, but I believe him in my heart. I was on my way to the gym. This is just exactly how I got this contract that I own now. I was on my way to the gym, and I was actually going to loan my brother $50. In the process of doing that, construction has always caught my eyesight. So when I see, they're building, there's something.
Here's a guy hustling hard to feed his family, able to do enough that he could go loan his brother $50.
Yeah.
See, you're just going to run past that like that's a natural, but to be able to have the attitude that says, I'm going to loan him $50 because I'll either get it back from him, but he's my brother. I've been knowing him all these years.
I am my brother's keeper.
He may or may not pay me back because he's my brother.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get paid back. My investment in my brother is going to be paid back, whether it's with his cash or whatever. And and that's a very powerful position to get to, and you didn't get to that easily.
No.
And that's also part of how important it is that people have some support mechanism so that they can feel themselves come out of that shell and be what they could really be in God's eyes.
It's an example of how it pays off for the provider.
Very good.
Because this, doing something for somebody else, look what happened.
Well,
you found an opportunity.
Yeah. So you went
right.
with the whole purpose of helping your brother.
Yeah.
And what happened?
And I ran into the owners of some restaurants. In the process of doing that, it's funny how things line up. I mean, I know nothing just happens by chance. It was by purpose. I seen a guy that I had remodeled his mom's kitchen 2 years prior to this meeting. So I pull over at the gas station. He's there building. Long story short, this in particular company that I work with now, they own 326 restaurants just in Southern California, and I manage 126 of those. Wow. So in the process of getting that contract as of 5 years ago, it's under my business, my license. I'm able to hire and fire. So for me, it was more of a story to where I didn't quit. I didn't stop, didn't want to quit. And now that I'm able to help other people and let them know, hey, it's not easy, but it's not impossible.
Hire and fire. Dun, 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 dun.
Because it goes back to what I was saying. They make it kind of hard, but then again, it's not impossible. I've ran through a lot of African American men, and not to ever say any names, but I probably run through 10 before I get one good one, And my thing is I'm not going to stop searching. I'm not going to stop teaching. I'm not going to stop training, because I believe in not only my vision, but also the possibility of making other people's vision come true.
Let me show you something. Mr. Evans.
Yes.
You're a salesman.
Oh, yes.
And we know that numbers are important in the deal.
That's correct.
How would you feel if you knew that at least that 1 out of 10 that you attempted to sell something to was going to buy?
Well, that is about the way that the world works, because it turns out
so when you get 5 or 6 no's in a row, that starts to excite you, doesn't it? Because you're moving in. You're moving in on the one that counts.
Yeah.
So the collection of no's and the collections of we can't help you is really a ladder, a stepping stone toward getting what you want done. Now, that's not common sense, but it is sense. And ain't nothing common about common sense, and we realize that. And what you, Mr. Jones, have just delivered to the table is that...
We find with a sales organization, 20% of the people produce 80% of the business. Wow. This is across the board. So when you get 1 out of 10 that meets your criteria, this is not at all unusual. And life is simple, but it's not easy.
And it's not designed to be easy. It doesn't have to be easy.
Well, it wouldn't be satisfying if it was easy.
Well, I don't know. I never had it be easy. I would like to be in a position to actually make a comparison,
Yeah.
And I'm not in that position, so I'm kind of stuck with you
had that experience,
making that
assumption,
Easy
that
would be exciting
right.
for me.
But
But at the same time, your grandma told you anything worth having is going to be a struggle.
That's right.
You're going to have to work for it.
So
that's what gives it value. And why do you think gold is worth so much? Because of all the people who went looking for it and the effort they put in and didn't find it.
There we go
That's
again.
what gives it value.
So once again, we will end the program with the way we started it, and that is to congratulate those people who refuse to take no for an answer. Whether it be the fact that they are a salesman trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, or a social salesperson who's trying to make some sense out of the dollars that are being spent. And we realize that it's important to...
Can we ask a question really quick before it's over? Who do we need to speak with, or what can the public do in order to determine where these dollars are going to go and what can be done with them when they get there?
Come to the meeting.
Good question.
Yes, on
September
10th at 6 o'clock in San Bernardino.
Meeting place to be announced.
The BSCC, their chair, executive director, and communications director will be down here in San Bernardino to meet with us, the African American. We put together African American Coalition, and we wrote them and requested that they come down here, and they will be here September 10th at 6:30 at a location to be.
And this will be open to the public?
Oh, it's
open
a requirement.
To the public,
and
yes.
you guys are going to have to meet us all there. That's really critical and important.
It is. For them to
we
see
may
the
have to
African-American
arrange
community.
for some food or something to help our people.
Since we're not paying for advertising, Wallace can put it on his website.
I'm going to give it up anyway. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So we need the African American community we need them to show up.
We'll push for that. We'll make that happen. We'll do everything.
And you can contact me, Renee Wickman, for any more information.
Your phone number?
909-567-0222, 909-567-0222. And I can give you some information on the clinics where you can have and see if your felony falls under Proposition 47.
So we've got two things there. One, community come in with solutions and representation that the money should be brought to our community to help solve this problem. And the young men and women who have the qualifications to have their charges changed from felony should be there to do so. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen on the case for truth and justice. And I think we've given you some information that will definitely help change the situation. We appreciate you very much. Mr. Lilly, Mr. Jones, Ms. Wickman, Mr. Evans. I really appreciate your mood, master. Man, you're in there really kicking it. If you enjoyed what we had to say, you need to re-listen and listen closely to the wonderful music provided by the Mood Master throughout today's program. See you guys next week under two circumstances. One, the good Lord's willing. Two, if the creek don't rise. God bless you. Thank you for being here in the church of, if it don't make, nothing common about common sense. Nothing common about common sense. We'll leave it there. Love you guys.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind. Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
The old course, gettable today, unless you're Dustin Johnson. I'm Pete Fox. DJ fired a 75 today, finishing at 7 under par. Of course, today just the third round after yesterday's second round took some 38 and a half hours. Paul Dunn, an amateur from Ireland by way of UAB, atop the leaderboard with Louis Oosthuizen and Jason Day. They are all 12 under par and done for the day. Jordan Spieth one back. A 66 today has him to 11 under par. Padraig Harrington 7 under on the day, 10 under on the tournament. Mark Leishman and another amateur, Jordan Niebert from America, 9 under par with Sergio, Justin Rose,